All right, today we're going on a journey. We're going to follow our food from the very first bite to the very end. We're diving into the wild, weird, and wonderful world of animal nutrition to see how every single creature, from us down to a tiny amoeba, fuels its life. Let's get into it. So let's kick things off with a simple question that really gets to the heart of everything. How come a plant can just chill in the sun and call it lunch, but we have to actually, find and eat food? This one difference is what defines being an animal. And here's the simple answer. Plants are what we call producers. They're like little solar-powered factories making their own fuel. But animals? We're consumers. We have to get our energy from somewhere else, which puts us all on the food chain. And since we can't just absorb sunlight, we need a whole system to break our food down into stuff we can actually use. And that brings us to the star of today's show, digestion. Seriously, think of it as a biological disassembly line. It's the amazing process of taking complex things like protein or carbs and breaking them down into simple, tiny parts that our bodies can use to build, repair, and just go. So, let's follow a piece of food on that exact journey. We're going to trace its path right through the human body's incredibly sophisticated disassembly line, which is basically a long tube called the alimentary canal. Every journey has to start somewhere, and for our food, it all begins with ingestion. It's a fancy word for a really simple act, just taking food into your body through your mouth. That first bite, that's step one. And the second you take that bite, the mechanical work begins. Your mouth is like a toolkit, really. You've got incisors up front for cutting, canines for tearing, and then the big guys in the back, the molars, for grinding everything down. They're the first crew on the line, just smashing the food into smaller bits. But it's not just about crushing and grinding. At the exact same time, your salivary glands launch the first chemical attack. Saliva is loaded with enzymes that immediately start breaking down complex carbs, like starches, into simpler sugars. The chemical disassembly has already started before you even swallow. Okay, so once you swallow, the food doesn't just fall down into your stomach. Nope, it's actively pushed down the esophagus by these waves of muscle contractions. It's kind of cool, actually. It's why you could technically swallow even if you were upside down. Though, maybe don't try that right after dinner. Next stop, the stomach. And this place is no joke. It's a churning, acidic vat. Its lining pumps out three key things. First, a layer of mucus to protect itself, so it doesn't digest itself, which is good. Second, hydrochloric acid to just destroy any nasty bacteria. And third, powerful digestive juices that are laser-focused on breaking down proteins. Now, from the stomach, the food mush moves into the small intestine. And get ready for this because it's pretty wild. If you were to uncoil the small intestine of an average adult, it would stretch out to about 7.5 meters. That's nearly 25 feet. It's just all expertly packed in there. So you've got to be asking, why on earth is it so long? Well, it all comes down to its main job, absorption. This is the big payoff. This is where all those simple nutrients we've been working to create are finally small enough to pass through the intestine wall and get into the bloodstream, ready to be delivered all over your body. And the secret to its incredible efficiency? Villi. The inside of your small intestine isn't smooth at all. It's covered in millions of these tiny finger-like folds. They basically increase the surface area by a massive amount. It's an absolutely brilliant piece of biological engineering. Okay, so the nutrients are in the blood. The journey's almost over, right? Not quite. The next step is called assimilation. This is where your body takes those simple little building blocks and uses them to build the complex things it needs, like new proteins to build muscle or repair an injury. This is the moment the food literally becomes a part of you. But what about all the stuff we can't digest? The leftovers? Well, they move into the large intestine. Its main job is to absorb water back from the waste. What's left over gets compacted and then removed from the body in the final step, egestion. And with that, the human food journey is complete. But look, the human disassembly line is just one model. Out in the animal kingdom, there are countless other seriously weird and wonderful solutions to the exact same problem of getting energy from food. I mean, check this out. A starfish. It finds something tasty in a hard shell, pries it open a little bit, and then it pushes its own stomach out through its mouth, digests the meal outside its body, and then just slurps it all back in.
How wild is that?
Or take ruminants like cows. They live on grass, which is full of this super tough fiber called cellulose that our stomachs can't do anything with. So what's their solution? A stomach with multiple chambers. They swallow grass into a chamber called the rumen, where special bacteria start breaking it down. Then they bring it all back up, that's the cud, chew on it some more, and swallow it again for round 2. Now, let's scale things way down. I mean, how do you eat if you don't even have a mouth, let alone a stomach? Well, meet the amoeba. It's a single-celled organism with a totally unique way of doing things. The amoeba's process is so elegant. It senses some food, and then it just extends its body, these false feet, to flow around the food particle and completely surround it. The food is then trapped inside a little bubble called a food vacuole, which acts like a tiny, temporary stomach, digesting the meal from the inside. A whole digestive system in just one cell. So you've got our complex internal tube, a starfish with an external stomach, a cow with 4 chambers, a single-celled blob. The methods couldn't be more different, right? But if you look closer, they are all following the same fundamental playbook. Because it doesn't matter what kind of animal you are, the basic challenges are always the same. First, you gotta get the food inside, that's ingestion. Then you have to break it down, digestion. Next, you pull out all the good stuff, that's absorption. And then you put that stuff to work building your body, assimilation. And finally, you gotta get rid of the waste, egestion. That 5-step process, it's the universal blueprint for animal life. And that kind of leaves us with one final thing to think about. While that 5-step process is universal, the systems themselves are incredibly specialized, right? A cow is built for grass. A starfish is built for shellfish. We're built for a super varied diet. So it makes you wonder, when you think about the amazing, complex journey our food takes, what does that tell us about the fuel we choose to put in our bodies every single day?